picks opens with these weird bans. Like there's so many weird bans. Like Zeri ban is not really normal. Obviously Lee Sin in this matchup is not really normal. You even got Oriana as well. Like there's so many bans here that are very interesting, and it leaves so many power picks open, which both the teams have picked up.
Absolutely. I mean, I did expect the Galio to be picked on the next pick phase, but it gets banned there because obviously we've got the Ziggs, the Camille, and then the Galio would have fit nicely, especially Coldy on the Galio would have been huge. We see the Severe ban come through as well. Obviously, neither of the teams, well, one of the teams has their APC, but the ADC on the other team, however, so Mumu hasn't quite yet got his pick yet, but Xayah is still up, and we saw Mumu play Xayah the other day.
Yeah, it's just, that's the weird thing about the Zeri ban as well. And now both the other AD carries are banned away. You know, Mumu is known for his AD carries. He hates playing APCs down in the bot lane. I still have flashbacks to ESL when Mumu was on Team Queso and he would just play hyper carry after hyper carry after hyper carry, Jinx, Tristana, all these champions. And look at that. Look, he's going straight back to it. Straight back to the AD carries, it seems like. Or maybe not yet. I have to see. It's going to be the Corki. Can still be Corki mid lane, but I'm not really too sure here because the Corki pick is probably going to go down the dual lane just because there's not really a lot of champions left for Mumu to pick here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Vladimir got banned out by WLG, which we saw Veos pick up the other day. Corki, Veos picked the other day as well, so it could potentially still be a Veos pick. There is a few options left down in the bot lane, but will it be an APC? Will it be the likes of a Karma? We're not too sure yet, but it looks like we're going to get Cold Star on his set pick again.
Yeah, it seems to be his kind of, go back to, I guess. You know, if he doesn't play the Ornn, he goes to something like a set instead. And Yone picked up here as well. This is Yone mid for S-Style. He did play a lot yesterday as well. Like I said, S-Style is normally a Baron lane player, and now he's playing in the mid lane. So that's why you see him playing normally some of these, Baron lane champions that you see some people play, the likes of Yone is definitely one of them. And Varus could be the pickup here as well, or it's the Kai'Sa. So it is going to be Corki mid lane here, and it's going to be Kai'Sa in the dual lane. So Veos picking up the Corki, and the Mumu is going to be picking up an AD carry this time. It is the Kai'Sa. Obviously, down the tier list a little bit because Xayah's banned, Severe's banned, and also the Zeri is banned, but still a very good pick to play.
Absolutely, yeah. Kaiser is definitely, depending on the region, is definitely was one of the go-to champions, either in the mid lane to go AP, or now we get in potentially the AD down in the bot lane. But once again, one of those champions that it just takes a little while to activate, if it ever does. But with it being such in the top 2 tier teams right now, so Kaiser would definitely benefit in this one. Veos and the Corki, we've seen huge outplays, but it's that S-Style on the Yone. We saw it yesterday. Obviously not quite complemented by the Riven, but we have Aatrox that still has a similar kit to the Riven in the jungle. So I think we're still going to see some of those amazing Yone knockups from yesterday. And I can only hope so because they were so clutch plays from Evergaming Capybari as well. But that one coming through is going to be interesting also because they take it straight away from Cold Star.
Very interesting. 2 of the best teams, 10 of the best players in EMEA at the moment. Even though players, what's crazy to me? Players like Andre, for example, who basically doesn't really play the game anymore. Yeah. He still comes into it and he still smashes the jungle every single time. Like, this guy is just so talented that he can just not play any games. He could basically not play for a whole month and he'll still come back and he will still be able to smash probably every single jungler in EMEA, and that just proves that this guy just has a natural talent for Wild Rift and natural talent for mobile games. And it's nice to see players like Andre and Veos and Don, Heste, Patterson, all these players still around, even though in terms of the esports scene it's not as big as what it was before, but we're slowly getting there. We're slowly starting to build up the scene and hopefully being able to grow it over the next few years. And then who knows, maybe after a few years we might see Riot coming back into into doing more official tournaments. That's what everyone's hoping for anyway. But for now, we're going to be getting into the grand final of season 3. One more best of 5. That's all it is now. One more best of 5 until we're going to get our champion of Rift Legends season 3. So let's head straight into it.
Absolutely. What an introduction into the match, and obviously what a big up for Andreas as well. So I'm pretty sure he's pretty pumped going into this game. So yeah, I mean, it's nothing out of the ordinary in terms of the team comps for WLG or for Evergaming. Obviously Zach Q on the Camille, we saw it yesterday. Patterson on his Jax, he loves that champion. And picking up the Aatrox for themselves rather than taking the Hecarim is a little bit of a weird one, but I feel like maybe Fatan is just maybe a little bit more comfortable on the Aatrox pick and would rather take that over Andreas on the Hecarim. I haven't actually seen Andreas play the Hecarim yet, so it's going to be really interesting to see how he performs on this champion pick.
Interested to see what Evergaming Capybaras are going to do this time to actually, you know, switch things around, and what they're going to do to kind of come up on top here against WLG, because WLG obviously beat them in the group stage, and it's just so difficult to take this team down. It really has to be something special here for Evergaming Capybaras.
Absolutely. I mean, you could already feel the difference in the atmosphere of this match. So going into the third placement match, it was a bit of a buzz. It was like, oh my gosh, who's going to come out on top? It's very even. And then obviously the Baguette smashed it. But then this one, it's just very like, the laning phase is very slow. There's a lot of trades. Nobody wants to really overextend because there's just so much on the line here. And everybody always wants to go for that first round win because it's just such a great mental place to be for your team, especially in the situation we're at right now. But we have Fatan going around into a Baron lane. Hopefully he was going to be engaged there, but caught out by the vision and allowed Patterson to get enough time and distance between himself and Camille.
A slow start this game so far, though, for these two teams. You can already see that there are a bit of advantages, small advantages across the map so far with these two teams. Oh, bit of a freeze, but we're back at it. Andre with the ulti. He's going to be able to go onto Zaku. Not going to be able to do that much damage so far. He's going to be able to survive away on 1 HP here. Andre getting there at the right place at the right time. Numu also doing a lot of damage down in the dual lane. Baton's trying his best. He's actually going to flash in as well. The counter-strike is going to stun, but it doesn't mean anything at all. But Veos is here for company, and Veos is going to be here to save the day. But S-Style, he has his ultimate. It gets dodged away by the whole team. Patterson is going to be able to survive as well with the flash away. That's a crazy exchange up in the Baron lane. So far, so good for both these two teams. Both of them are going to be happy with that, with kills over to both the Baron lane champions, but an even trade overall.
Absolutely. So the lifesteal from the Hecarim just kept him alive long enough for the counter-strike to come through as well, but then obviously he fell down. The damage didn't quite sink onto the Jax, and it didn't allow the Camille to try and get another kill there in the top lane. Which would have been a huge push ahead for Zach Q, but because now both of them are up 1-0, it's pretty much nullified that. Zach Q is still ahead, but only by 100 gold.
$200 gold lead so far for WLG. Doesn't really mean too much. They're going to get a couple of tower plates here in the bot lane. Cold Star's trying to make a play down here, but nothing comes off of it at the moment, and we'll have to see if anything is going to happen with these two teams around these major objectives, which are going to spawn in 50 seconds time. So we'll have to wait and see what these teams prioritize.
Absolutely. We've already got the display being built on Kaiser. So first the item being built here. Boots not gone for on the Kaiser, but a huge engage. Been a reaction for the invade of Evergaming, trying to go into the jungle there. Bo Cold and Fatan get taken down. So that brings WLG to a 3-1 advantage so far. Puts their gold ahead by at least 1.6k, which just isn't where you want that first part of the match to be in when you're ever gaming Capybara.
You cannot make mistakes against WLG. That is one thing. Invading against WLG is very, very risky because they will capitalize on every single mistake that you make. And that is the perfect time for all these teams. And oh, they do get a pick though onto Andre. This is pretty big for Ever Gaming. The Corki package does come in there and pretty much zone the whole team here for the Capibaras. And the Herald was so low on health, but it does get secured by Phaton, and the rest of the team is trying to clean up here. But it's going to mean that Veos is going to jump over the wall. Mumu is extremely close, low on health. Prince was getting ignited, and the red buff might have been able to do enough damage, but it's not. And WLG are going to take a few kills. But with Andre dead, it did mean that the Herald did go over to Evergaming Capybaras. They could try and get first tower. It does mean that Andre here probably going to secure this dragon. Yeah,
I mean, we saw Veos putting a lot of pressure onto Phaton there. I honestly thought that he was going to get a rocket off or even try and get the damage over time from the package, but obviously having the smite there and readily available, he had to smite at the right time or he would have lost that Shelly straight away. But what a well play going into the Baron Nash, Rift Herald, no, but knock up from the Orn. S-Star was just so overextended. It was written in the stars that S-Star was just a little bit too ahead of himself in that Baron lane. Unfortunately for Evergaming, they are now 4 kills behind.
And this is the thing, like, coming into this series, I thought to myself, I was like, you know, maybe Evergaming might have a chance, but it is looking really dire already for Evergaming. They are going to get the first tower of the game in this mid lane. Andre is all by himself again. Not too sure what he's doing that far up. And the bomb as well from the Zig is a flash forward from Phaton. So a few mistakes here from Andre. Just trying to make plays and trying to get flanks around for Evergaming Capybaras. But it's not going to be enough so far. It does mean that with that first tower of the game for Evergaming, it does mean that they do close that gold lead to about, well, pretty much dead even now in gold. There's about a few hundred gold leads.
Oh, Phaton with the strange Reaver recall there. So why would you do that when you can see that they're going to be there? Yeah, I mean, we saw it with the Camille in the last game. It was like, why did they do that? Why did Ferox do that? And we saw the same mistake happen with Evergaming, just recalling the river so innocently there, and then Kaiser just came along and completely decimated Phaton there, which is not a good look for Capybaras so far, because they are now back behind in gold.
Holy moly. To see if Evergaming can get this tower here is going to be a little bit difficult. Estate is going to go in with the Warlords with though. They are going to try and defend this tower. Zaku does have to flash away or he's going to get knocked up by the Norn, but rest of the team is going to be able to do a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Patterson is just taking tower after tower, and Evergaming wasn't even able to take the bot lane tower.
Yeah, nothing at all came from that bot lane engage, but you can kind of see why Phaton went for the Aatrox over the Hecarim. Yes, Hecarim can get out of there, but when you try and catch out the Hecarim and you're successful, it's pretty much an easy kill there for you. But that is most of the battle there right now for Phaton. He does manage to get in and finally secure the kill onto Hecarim, but it is pretty much half of the battle when you're going against a Hecarim 1v1. It's just catching up to that 4-legged freak.
Holy. Actually crazy. Evergaming, yeah, Evergaming coming back here with a few more kills. 8-5 now on kills. They are still a little bit behind on gold. Oh, Heste, the timing. He wasn't able to stop the Ziggs. He can't kill Cold Star either. The ultimate comes in, but there's too much healing from the Honey Fruit. They are going to try and get the spot lane tower though. It is a 2-for-2 at the moment in terms of towers, and Heste is going to go in onto Cold Star, and there's nothing that he's going to be able to do about it. More kills over to WLG, another tower as well. That's all three, oh not sorry, all 3 outer towers. There's 3 towers in total, but they still haven't broken that mid lane tower yet.
Yeah, mid lane is looking pretty strong on the side of Evergaming. They managed to get their mid lane turret down. Well, with WLG's mid turret down because of Shelly there, but they also got the bot lane turret as well. But it still seems like an equal matchup, but there's just some mistakes that Capabaris are making that shouldn't be going on in a second place matchup here. We have Andreas and we have the Jax is here as well. Go 2v1. Heste's coming around as well with a knock onto the Camille. What an amazing greet over the wall by the Ornn himself.
And there was no way of ZachU escaping there. He couldn't jump, you know, further away towards his base because it was already getting blocked off by Andre and Patterson, so he had to try and escape the other way, but Heste was just in the right place at the right time. So really well played there by Heste to be able to roam down Patterson again. The tower taking machine in the Baron lane. The gaming Capabaris are going to take another tower for themselves. They're going to try and take an inhibitor tower here, but they're not going to be able to. The rest of WLG are going to be back here. And now Evergaming Capabaris have to be careful. They're kind of in the wrong position at the moment. Dragon's going to be taken down. Coalstar is very low on health. He's goes extremely low on health. The knockup from Heste again. The plays come in. Yone has been knocked down. Phaeton is going to be next as well. There's a 2-0 for WLG. And a play that they were trying to make to try and get a top lane inhibitor tower turned into death for 2 members.
Yeah, 2-0 for that top turret, even though we see the Patterson managed to, and WLG managed to come out that unscathed. The only person that is very low is Mumu, and Mumu is still within grasp and is well safe distance there. It's a double kill by Patterson in the mid lane under the turret as well. Andreas is baiting ZachU here. We have Patterson and Veos here also, but I think ZachU has enough brain power there to be like, I'm not taking this 3v1, not again.
It's pure domination now for WLG. Getting more and more kills, getting even more big of advantage. They're able to take the dragon as well. Sorry, so now they're at 2 dragons. The builds are starting to come through. The carries are just going to be scaling and scaling. Both Corki and Kaiser both already have 2 items. They're looking towards their 3rd item now, both building towards that. The objective bounties have come in here for the Evergaming Capabaris.
Absolutely. Patterson was getting caught out a little bit there by Yone, but I mean, Patterson's already up by the lane gold alone is up by 4k, which is just huge. Coalstar trying to come in with an engage, bring Patterson closer to his team, but I feel like that's just a death warrant for Evergaming. They managed to take out Andreas, but is that all they're going to get? It's a 1-for-1 trade so far from the set onto the Hecarim, but can they catch anything else? Phaeton over the wall with the Camille as well, but Camille is already pretty much lost a lot of health. Okay, Style comes through, but Camille gets a kill onto Kaiser, so it is a 3-2 trade for Evergaming. They are not quite out yet. They are still making the mark on the Rift.
Style jumping over the wall there was absolutely huge. Caught out Heste, sorry, not Heste, caught out Mumu and Veos over the wall. Was extremely nice play here, and he might try and turn towards this Baron, but Veos does have the package, so they do need to be extremely careful here because Corki could do a lot of damage. Andre is back as well. Veos is just going to go straight in here. He does have the stasis to bait out as well. Andre is also here to play, and Veos is going to go down. Andre even might go down here as well. I think the WLG has maybe overstepped a bit too much.
That catch from the Corki onto the set was just a little bit too clean there for ColdQ. They managed to get the Corki down and out, but Andreas is still standing on his 4 legs. The mid lane turret, however, is taking a little bit of a beating since we last had a report on it, but that side lane punishment from Patterson on both the Baron lane and both the duo has really put pressure on Capabari on where they should be sitting in these team fights.
Patterson's going to be caught out here as well. The flash away is not going to do anything for you this time, Patterson. You are completely caught out, but Patterson is so tanky right now. He has 12,500 golds. That is a ridiculous gold per minute rate at the moment at 14 minutes into this game. He really has to be the difference for this team right now, because there are a few times where WLG have made mistakes. You know, I did say that they were kind of cruise sailing this game, but there have been moments where they have felt a little bit shaky, and Evergaming have been able to capitalize on their mistakes. So maybe this game is not over just yet.
Yeah, the Hackrooms, like I said, it's just been one of those champions that hasn't quite performed the way it needs to. I feel like that was Evergaming's potential strategy, giving up the Hecarim because they knew that they would take it, knowing they'd been banned for pretty much most of the series here. But Hester's going in to engage onto S-Style. S-Style goes in for the status here. Enough time for Fatom to come round with the Ziggs all coming through as well. Massive damage onto WLG, but Patterson gets the first kill. Is it going to be a 1-1 trade there? So one trade goes down. Hestis goes down as well. It's 2-1 currently for WLG. Can they get any more bound for blood? Double kill for Hecarim as well. Is that a triple for Hecarim? No, Kaiser and the Corki get the ace there on Evergaming Kapabari, and I think this could be the rundown to the end.
Yep, they're going to finish the game here. WLG, really clean team fight. Mumu played that so perfectly. Faton was trying his best to dive in onto the Kaiser, but there was nothing that he could do about it. Kaiser is so slippery, turns invisible, and wins the game for WLG. A few shaky moments, but one team fight is all it takes for WLG to take game number 1.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the team that won the last season undefeated, and this is the team that's currently still going into the second season as WLG undefeated. MVP to Patterson, and I think that is definitely deserved on Patterson just because of those side lane priorities and split pushing that he's been doing for the entire the game, really, and it gave them an enhanced pressure on the side of Evergaming Kapabari, Faton and Prince and S-Style as well. Quite a few times where we saw them go in, do a lot of damage, get a few kills. However, Zach Q with a few mistakes, Cold Start